You know what's really annoying as a web developer? Positioning things. It sucks. And luckily, now that we have Flexbox these days and things like CSS Grid, this is a little bit easier to do. And Quasar has a really cool component that makes it even easier still, and that's the QSpace component. Let's have a bit of a play. So imagine we have a button here, and I'm going to give this a label equal to click me, and then let's just add another button saying click me too. And notice that in this example, I have flex and flex center on the page, which is why this is being centered, because we're using Flexbox because of the flex part here, and it's being centered. Now, what if we want to push these two apart though? You might, if you know anything about Flexbox, you know that basically you can say to elements, hey, I want you to fill up all of the space. So what we can actually do is say Q-space here, which is going to do just that. And there we go. It fills up all of that space in the center here so that these buttons are going to be pushed to the edge. This turns out to be particularly useful. And you know what? I might not be giving you a good example here using two buttons, but I promise you there's going to be a point in the real world where you're definitely going to want to use QSpace. So let me give you another example here. If we get rid of QSpace, save it, once again they're centered, maybe we just want to push these buttons to the left and then have something on the right here, like an avatar. Well, in that case, we can say Q-space, save it. Now they've been pushed to the left. So you can almost imagine an imaginary component in here that's basically taking up all of that space so that these guys get pushed to the left. And then I can say Q-avatar, and let's just give it a color equal to green. And you can imagine this would be particularly useful in a toolbar where you basically want to have on the right side an avatar or a button that basically gives you an account menu. And then on the left side, you've just got the title of your application. So QSpace is really, really cool. Let's take a look at something else. If we wanted, we could change that to column. And this is just another example here where basically when you set it to column, it's kind of like turning Flex on its side. So now it's taking up all of the space inside of here, as you can see, and then these two elements are at the top and the avatar at the bottom. Really, really handy in some situations. In fact, let me give you another one. Let's use the Q-bar component, which is kind of like the toolbar component, but it's a little bit smaller. And we'll say my app, and then I'll come down here and say Q-button, and I want this button to kind of be like the close button that we've got up here on Visual Studio Code. So let's set the icon equal to close, and then we can say make it dense and make it flat, just to style it a bit. So there we go. And actually, I'll get rid of this styling here, save it, and that's a pretty good example there of a title bar that you might want to build. However, this button, you want it to be over on the right side here. So how can we do that? Well, of course, you can see where this is going. Q-space is going to just push it all the way over to the side. So you do need to know, though, in this scenario that the QBar is a Flex component. So inside of there, it's actually using Flex, which is why this example works. All right, let me give you another example with a toolbar and a little bit of a caveat here. I'm not sure if you'd call it a caveat, but anyway, let's take a look. So imagine that we want a toolbar. I'll add some padding in here just to differentiate it from this toolbar at the top. All right, and I'll basically replicate what we've got at the top there. Let's say class is equal to background-primary and then text-white inside of that toolbar. All right, so just a really basic toolbar. Now what I can do is say Q-space here, and then I can put inside of there a div, and let's just copy what's done here. Quasar v, and then using Quasar here, $Q dot version, we can get the version of Quasar. Okay, cool. But now what if we want to do the title? In that case, we might come in here and say my Quasar app. Save it. However, look how the styling is a little bit different. So it turns out what we can actually do here is use the Q-toolbar-title component. And what this is it's basically like the space component that I was just showing you. However, it's also going to add all the styling you need for a toolbar title. So if I save that, we get the same thing, but with this really nice toolbar styling. So that's actually what's being used here. They're not using a space component, they're using a toolbar title, which is kind of like a space component, but it gives you a little bit of extra styling, which is why this looks really, really nice. So there you go. That's the QSpace component, and this is where you might actually want to use the Q toolbar title instead of QSpace. Hope you enjoyed this one. See you in the next video.